We're going to have a traditional lighting of the lamp now. Dr. Swami, Mr. Chawla, Dr. Panja, please do join us. Mr. Manoj Kumar Sonthalia, Chairman of the group. Mrs. Joyita Sen, Director, Senco Gold and Diamonds. India is a land of extremes in many things, not in the least in the state of its women. At 21%, Indian women have one of the lowest female participations in the formal workforce. But women and girls also make 43% of the total graduates in STEM. And we have a shining example here today. One of our Devis is a leader in this force. A girl born in India has a lower life expectancy than in most other nations, but also nearly 75% of all full-time workers on farms who give us our food are women. Indian women account for 1/3 of the female suicides in the world, but also 67 million Indian women are members of self-help groups, and around 1.3 Indian women are in panchayats. And of course, we now have a female president as well. For every terrible headline about violence against women, there is also heartwarming news about their achievements in public life. The Devi Awards were designed and are designed to recognize and honor professional women who, through their exceptional work in different sectors, are changing the lives of people around them. We instituted the awards in New Delhi in December 2014 and have since paid tribute to more than 200 women achievers from around the country in 20 editions. Today, we return to Kolkata for the second time to celebrate the achievements of 15 remarkable women. A little time for a little self-congratulation. We have an eye for talent. We spotted Nikhil Zareen in 2016 before she won a gold in boxing at the World Championships in 2022. We discovered Meena Jadhav in Lucknow in 2016 before Writing for Fire made her a star with the documentary winning an Oscar. She's the woman behind Khabar Lahariya. We discovered Chandru Tomar, the sharpshooter, in 2017 before Saan Ki Aankh was made in 2019. We honored Neerja Birla in 2017 before mental health became a national conversation, and Falguni Nair in 2018 before she became the richest self-made woman in India. Now, for who we are. The New Indian Express Group, of which the Sunday Standard is a part, is one of India's leading media conglomerates. It publishes newspapers in English and Tamil across South India, Odisha, and Delhi NCR. Also a magazine in Malayalam and English. The media group is owned and managed by Mr. Manoj Kumar Sonthalia, the grandson of the late and great Ramnath Goenka. The legacy of the New Indian Express goes back to the pre-independence era when its Chennai edition was launched on 5th September 1932. Even then, the group was known for its courageous and fiery journalism. Today, it is no different, with the slogan, "Fear none, favor none." The group caters to a wide range of regional and English readers. It offers its readers 37 editions of the New Indian Express and Dinamani, which are printed from 30 centers across 5 southern states, Odisha and Delhi. The group's dailies have a total readership of over 60 lakh. So this was just to tell you about who we are and why we're here. I'd like to now invite Neha Periwal, Director, the New Indian Express, and the lady who's put it all together to come and welcome all of us here. Neha, please.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening to all. On behalf of Indulge, a warm welcome to our very distinguished chief guest, Dr. Swami, our wonderful Devis, and all our special guests who are here today. Ancient Indian text states that where there is respect for women, there will be presence of the divine. And in these texts, we have seen that the woman is celebrated as the most powerful and the empowering force, Shakti or Devi. We, at the New Indian Express, believe that strong, independent women are the backbone of the nation. We act on this belief by organizing the Devi Awards, which recognizes and honors exceptional women across various sectors who display dynamism and innovation in their line of work and to ensure that their successes and voices are heard and heeded. To celebrate and value their incredible success story, the Devi Awards is back in Kolkata to honor 15 remarkable women achievers from diverse fields. And it is true that every woman's success is an inspiration to another to dream more, to learn more, and do more. We grow stronger when we cheer each other. And it is for this reason that we are here today, to cheer these exceptional women, our Devis who have gone out there, charted their awe-inspiring journeys, spread light, and touched innumerable lives positively as received their awards. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this evening.
May I now call upon Sharmishta Ghoshal, who's the assistant editor in charge of Indulge, to tell us what Indulge is all about.
A very warm welcome to you all, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sharmishta Ghoshal. Hosting the Devi Awards in Kolkata for the second time after 2019 seems itself an achievement, given the harrowing 2 years that an invisible enemy sliced out of our lives. But then we all stand here celebrating life and all the goodness that it has to offer in a city that deserves to be called the city of joy. 4 years ago, when Indulge launched here, we were a little apprehensive of the onerous responsibility on our shoulders, whether we could successfully take the brand to the people who matter. Would they accept something that's a total stranger in a market dominated by entrenched players? The way the city has allayed our apprehension and it has to be seen to be believed. A large part of people who represent the city's myriad facets are present here today, and they have embraced us, indulged in us, applauded us as we strove to produce quality work to make our mark in a discerning market. With a smile, you have taken our midnight calls, responded to barrage of questions, accommodated us with resources and cooperation, the value of which only we know. Actors, directors, photographers, fashion designers, models, hotel authorities, restaurateurs, artists, singers, entrepreneurs, our advertisers, we all bow to you all. Keep indulging. We would only grow with your love. Now, without much ado, let's proceed to hail our endearing Devis.
I called Dr. Panja a few days ago and asked whether she would come and speak to us on this occasion. I thought as Minister for Child and Women Development and Social Welfare, there couldn't be anyone better than that. And she agreed. She's quite remarkable. I told her, is there anyone I should coordinate with? She said, no, just coordinate with me. I don't know how she does it. She's a doctor. She's a minister. She has 2 portfolios. She also speaks for her party. But obviously, she is at a different level from all of us. She's here today. And I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk to her about a few of the schemes that her government has launched and what really she can tell us about being in public life and being in the public eye and still being so graceful, so poised, and achieving so much. So please, all of us, give it all up for Dr. Panja, who's here with us. So first of all, Dr. Panja, tell me about being in a government that's led by the indomitable, fiery, I don't know what adjectives you can use, Mamta Di. What is it like?
It's very difficult to describe her. She's actually her original.
Yeah, she's one of a kind.
She is an achiever. I mean, coming to think of the fact that you are having Achiever Awards here. And of course, Bengal itself has achieved a lot. And she herself is an achiever. Mamata Banerjee coming from such a humble and a modest background.
Yeah.
But more than that, it's not what one achieves for oneself, but to do it for the others so that the others can also achieve. So that is what the government of West Bengal is also trying to do. And as you introduced me, the department that I look after, Women, Child Development and Social Welfare, is a very important department also. And she has our chief minister has put her entire focus on this. She's put her entire focus. I mean, things are so different, you know. Now, especially, I don't know, maybe expectations were very high. And at this point of the time, if you look at all the states in India, there's only one lady chief minister. Previously, you had Jayalalitha, and I think you had Vasundhara Raje, Mayavati, Sheila Dikshit ji. So there were some, but at present only Mamata Banerjee. So that is also one very big thing that point we need to remember that.
It's a very tough world. I think we can all applaud that.
Now we
Clap.
Thank you. I think most of us have digested that fact.
Yeah.
So it's not very. So what is
It's
there
not
to applaud?
new. It's not new for us.
I mean, exactly. I mean, you would not throw her in any particular gender, but sometimes it really needs a mention. Because actually, eventually, when you are in such a field or in any kind of field, really it's not the gender, I guess. The achievers do not really look at genders. So the achievement, they look at the achievement. But all said and done, we just cannot forget the fact that, no, we have a woman chief minister, just like we have a woman as a president now. We had a woman as a prime minister. So things like that, those ultimately do come within a mention.
So, Dr. Panja, I wanted to ask you, you've been a municipal councillor, you've been an MLA, you've been a minister now since 2013. That's almost...
2011.
2011. That's almost a decade, more than that. So,
third term.
Yeah.
Running.
So what has public life taught you that medicine didn't?
We are... actually, I was married into a political family, you can say. Ajit Panjaji is my father-in-law, so he's no more with us. But basically, he was the black sheep in the family. Otherwise, you know, there were no politics as such in the family. So he only started it. But
Why do you say black sheep?
No, because he used to say that they are all doctors in the family. I'm the one who's the barrister, you know, bar at law. And it comes very naturally, I guess, you know, for those who are students of history or political science or, you know, bar at law, senior advocates. They very quickly and very nicely, very swiftly, seamlessly come into politics. It's very difficult for people like us who veered from medicine onto politics. So mine was, of course, just by chance. I never nurtured any political ambitions. It is just that I used to help my father-in-law, yes, of course. I was practicing a doctor. I still do practice, but I do not do it as much as I used to be before. I have always been associated with an infertility institute. So we are actually, this institute, right from the very beginning, and ever since I joined, we look after, or rather we look into the needs of couples who are wanting babies.
Yeah.
So it is very, I keep saying this, that in a country where
there's so many of them.
Where some, most of them want sons. Yeah. You know, when you look at the problem, then I think, and that should not, you know, you really discount, you would further on discount it. It's very funny. You see, the moment I used to go to a usual hospital too, and I do ultrasound. So the first question that the pregnant lady or her relatives would ask, more than the lady who was pregnant, it's her relatives, over-enthusiastic relatives, would ask, "Ladka hai ya ladki?" So I would always say, "Ki hum to ye nahi bolenge aapko." So I'm not going to say this. But when I went into the field of infertility, I realized how, that was a question which one should really, you should actually scold the people who ask such questions, because you're looking for them, for those who are not conceiving. Is it a boy or a girl? Doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. So, life teaches you a lot. So, I guess life also taught me, I don't know, even though I veered into politics, as I said, it just came by chance. And first I refused. Then I was told, why don't you try? So it was just,
Why did you refuse? What was your apprehension?
the one which I refused was I refused to stand for election. I said, okay, I'm in the organization,
Right.
fine. It was just coming step by step.
Yeah.
First it was like looking after the organization, then it came as an electoral chance. But it's not about me out here. What I was trying to say was, in medicine, we were looking at many people. Yes, there is a domain, there are many patients you can help with, of all kinds, of all, all economic strata. So there is a goodness in it. There is a feeling of, otherwise also a feeling of social welfare. You learn a lot, and just because a person can't pay, I will not give that same kind of medical advice. This doesn't come to us. So that was one. But when I went into politics, then I saw that the field was much larger.
Yeah.
And then I could use my medical knowledge, my acumen, plus I could do much more. So that is the advantage which I got. I mean, anybody who would...
Yeah,
was
you
interested.
know, it's so good that you say that, because often we become quite cynical about politics and what it can do. You know, we think it's only about, making
I don't
money.
blame them.
It's a touching
I
it's a
don't blame
touchy
anybody
topic.
for this.
It's a touchy topic right now. But there is a lot that can be done that is good as well. And, you know, some of the schemes that your government has launched have actually transformed lives.
Yes.
So
this has
can you
been-
talk a little about the changes that you've seen? You know, you've seen on the ground a girl who maybe had no hope. You know, she thought she would get married at 14. You know, under Kanya Shri, she got a scholarship and she did great things. There must be cases like that which must be so heartwarming,
absolutely.
right?
It is a very rewarding
Yeah.
scheme, I feel, because just think of a girl in the village who we are expecting that around 15, 16, she will raise her voice against being married.
Right.
She's so vulnerable herself.
Yeah.
We are also dealing with an adolescent physiology. You know, at that time, there is a tendency to elope. So all this should not happen, and that you should be with studies, you should not be married, do not run away from home because there are so many perils. It is very easy for us to say when, in families like us, okay, with our children, the protection that they get, but they are socially unprotected.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult for us to explain to them. And it's only their experiences and stories which her friends may have narrated of the terrible experiences that they've gone through, because probably they got married early, because they ran away with their boyfriend. Absolutely. It's something like that. So Kanyasri was a scheme. It actually began because in the state, prior to 2011, we used to see annually there used to be neonatal deaths. And the numbers were huge. And at that time, when we were in the opposition, we used to protest, we used to be on the streets, why there should be so many neonatal deaths. We never understood why it used to happen. So why it should happen, we used to protest politically. And then when you evaluate it further on, this is how Kanyasri helps, because what Kanyasri does is, it says that you should not be married if you're going to be associated with this scheme. It also says that you should be in a school or a college, right, or a madrasa, or an ITI, any kind of technical institute. And it also, if initially there was an annual income to it, which was very, all inclusive. The idea was to include everybody. So it was an income scheme, which we finally did away with the income level. But the basic idea was these neonatal deaths which were happening were due to an early marriage. Yeah. Or, yes, of course, an early marriage with an early pregnancy. So she was delivering smaller babies and they were dying. Yeah. So you kind of reverse it. And that is how these criteria came into being. So the idea was to strike down early child marriages before the so-called age which is within the constitution provisions. So this is how Kanyasri started. Now, there was a social message, definitely. But then with that came, of course, a scholarship. There was I would say, we call britti in Bengali. Yes, very nice. It should not sound like a freebie, which everybody says. It's not a freebie, but it is a scholarship. And the honor to be associated with the scheme. That is what went down very well with the girls. So they would be proud to say, I'm a Kanyasri. I'm a Kanyasri. Yeah. Now the situation is this, we are quite few years down the scheme. Now she's an empowered girl. Yeah. Now she herself is a role model and she tells girls in the villages, you're not supposed to get married. Yeah. So she herself is an ambassador of the scheme. Now that is the achievement. Absolutely. She is the icon herself. There are girls who don't come to school. These girls go to they form clubs and they go to the house and they explain to the parents, "Aap kyun shaadi de rahe hain iska? Ekon eto taratari biye hocche keno?" So they protest. Sometimes it's a cat and mouse game because there is a marriage going to happen. We get the news, we send the police, or one of our teachers, the school teachers go, okay, then they get alert. For now, the marriage is stopped, and then they do it elsewhere. Yeah. So what we started to do also is there is now a district plan to end child marriage, but we have started to sensitize. Now here you can only sensitize, you cannot impose. So we started talking to the pandits, the purohits, even to the priests and even to the Muslim priests who would be conducting the marriages. The marriage to aapke samne hi hone wala hai. So if you ascertain the age and kind of discourage, so this is how we are working to it. So it is now empowerment that we talk about, a girl empowerment, and obviously when an award like the United Nations award comes, I mean, it actually acknowledges the scheme as reaching out to the, poorest of the poor and the most unattended, socially unattended strata of society. So that's a huge award.
And that's not the only scheme. There are various other schemes that sort of look at virtually every stage of the woman's.
Yeah, there are many schemes. Basically the message is about women empowerment, girl empowerment and women empowerment. So even we have understood in Bengal that the girls know the right age of marriage, the boys don't know.
Yeah, I was about to come to the boys. We need a department for men.
The boys
development.
No, actually, yes, both need to be sensitized because like tomorrow is the World Day that you observe against trafficking. Oh. And it's a very important day.
Right.
Yes. In fact, we will also be having a seminar and it's going to be a very interesting talk and deliberations that we will be doing with our district functionaries. We've also invited many students and many college professors. Cyber crime. Yeah. You see, this mobile is also, we are telling them online education. We are telling them that online education hona chahiye tha. COVID mein everybody was online, as many could avoid, have the Android with them. But then it is also showing many other things. So it was just not studies. It is just a huge virtual world and social media. So avenues are there. We are telling them you must be adept with using this. But at the same time, we are exposing them to lots more. So that is what the world is like. So it has the goods and the bads, everything. But the ability to discriminate. And now how children are, they decide for themselves. So we need to, during this process, plan and also tell them the dangers. And that is what we are attempting tomorrow. Because trafficking we've done in the past, whenever we've discussed, our state has been very aggressive about it because we share a very porous border too.
Absolutely.
With internationally and nationally. Yeah. So, of course, nationally we have neighboring states, but international border is also there. So, we have been addressing how to prevent trafficking. It's not that the entire episode is over, you already trafficked. There has been a physical and a terrible mental trauma on the girl, and then you are trying to rehabilitate. The damage is done. The scar will remain. Of course, we try to bring her back, but then how do you prevent it? So there, as we have been working on it, now we feel that this issue, these cyber issues have to be addressed. Now, we as a department can't do it, so we'll have the police on board, we'll have also others, we'll have some IT experts too, as to how we can handle this. And so this is one domain, Facebook, friendship, and sometimes there is nobody out there. It's basically a trafficker maybe, who promises you, gives you a lure of a job,
and you
lure
don't know
of
the
employment,
reality.
lure of a marriage. You don't know what's going to happen next. We have so many of these experiences. We know it's almost like equivalent to illegal migration. You see, suppose my child has a very good career prospect. You cannot stop them from maybe going outside the state or maybe going out of the country. But what we try to assure is that wherever you are traceable and trackable, and you are all right. So there are families who try to migrate. You cannot stop migration because if it's for better economic prospects. But during the process of migration, some get lost or disintegrated, the family. So illegal migration is a very important thing. And there are experiences where the girl or the boy has told the family, I have got some naukri, maybe gone off to Ludhiana, Haryana or Delhi. 1 year, everything is all right. The boy is sending money, or the girl of the parents, everything, the phone number, everything, good dialogue, all communications. Just after 1 year, you lose. And then they think, no, maybe she's busy or he's busy. And actually, you lose.
Contact.
You lose contact because
Terrifying,
then,
that must...
yes. And believe me, West Bengal police, even Delhi police, there is an organization called Shakti Vahini. Kailash ji was here yesterday to meet the Honorable Chief Minister. Kailash Satyarthi, his organization, doing excellent work. Most of them don't come out. Yeah. We don't even actually report it. There are so many such stories where the police actually has gone from here and rescued many girls or women, or many girls from Maharashtra, somebody has come here. Some may have even reached up to Nepal. Yeah. So we have a dialogue with them. Pakistan, Jammu, Kashmir. Right. It's all over the country. There was, once, I don't know whether you had reported in your newspaper, this must be in my first term. So prior to 2016, one day the city, there was a huge jam. You know why it was? Because we had noticed in Shialda station that a huge group of children, how old would they have been, 8 years, 10 years, were making movement. So we got the news from Shialda because there is a child line out there. We said, stop that movement. What is this movement of children? Right. So there was this elderly person, elder to them, of course, who said that he was a teacher. And he's saying that, nahi, hum Malda se idhar ke niye jachi. We are going down south to Trichur or Cochin, somewhere, for English education. Oh. But it was obviously a suspicious movement. It was a suspicious movement. So what he has assured the parents is कि English education के लिए उनको ले जाएंगे, hostel में रखेंगे, बच्चा बड़ा होगा, काबिल बच्चा होगा, and all that. And we stopped that movement, and they stopped the city. But we didn't, deter from it. They created a huge confusion, bada jam-wam karke, this state is working against the, upliftment of the children, that we just wouldn't budge from our position. Because we were very sure that this is something more than just giving education.
But there's so much hunger for education. There's so much hunger, that aspiration that the next generation will do better than us. And what else do people in India have except education? They can't rob or steal,
No, of course,
parents
we also
have that sense.
So we also instill in them that you must educate your child. Usko padhana zaruri hai.
So people can exploit that, unfortunately.
Yes, people do. So that is where the awareness comes in. We just have to keep making them aware. And there are schools and colleges out here. So school enrollment is very good here. It is that upper primary, or I would say class 6, 7 is a stage again where you have to watch. The primary school enrollment rate is very good in our state.
And then it drops off.
And that dropout. You have to check that school dropout.
Yeah. That usually happens because the children start to be economically.
Both, yeah,
Yeah.
the families, so many mouths to feed, but
So-
that many hands are there, so why not
Exactly.
put them to work?
So you start
Irrespective of
looking-
the gender.
Yeah, you start looking at them as ways to make money.
But at the same time, there are labor laws.
Exactly.
I mean, even that has a punitive measure that you
Yeah,
can take.
yeah.
But you cannot. I mean, child labor laws are so friendly. If I tell that this child is working in that shingara shop or polishing shoes, don't do that, send the child to school, we are reimbursing you. So they take the reimbursement, they take the money, and again they send the child
Send
again
them back.
next. So next time it's again set of money. Then again it's again a money from the government. But then one needs to appreciate, actually, you actually have to understand. I mean, it's very sensitive. They are forced. They are forced to do that. You cannot make fun of that. We need to understand that, and then again say that, no, you shouldn't do it. And
So
at
this,
least
the state
hours in
has to
school
be
are important.
sensitive and cognizant and aware. It's a very delicate thing. No wonder it's a woman who's at the head of this. You need to have an understanding. that
Yeah, and
people-
everybody needs to understand.
Yeah.
It's just not
Down the line.
down the line. Everybody needs to carry the message.
Yeah.
So
From the police.
From the
to-
police, even the panchayat has to
Yeah.
be sensitized. It has to be prioritized. The idea is you have to prioritize. So what is the budget? Even the union budget, if you look at the WCD budget.
I mean, it's what, 350 crore.
Now,
national-
whatever it is, that was more for infrastructure.
Yeah.
So what is the qualitative budget? That is important. So it is a question of priority.
But
You
it's
have to
also,
prioritize.
the state has to also align itself with civil society, with people who are working in this area. For
Yes.
instance, you spoke of Kailash Satyarthi, great ally of the state if it wants to do something. So,
No, we also have wonderful NGOs in
Yeah.
our state. They do wonderful jobs.
Right.
Irrespective of the fact that NGOs also are under pressure now.
yeah,
I mean, of where are your funds coming from? So many have reduced their
activities.
their activities and work, because if the fund doesn't come in,
Yeah.
the fund is in question. So, I mean, much as we want them on board with us, not many. I mean, that has reduced a lot.
So, as a state government, when you look back on almost a decade of change, what is the most heartwarming thing for you when it comes to women? What are the changes that you see?
Empowerment.
Empowerment, of course, but your party itself has so many powerful women,
Yeah.
very fiery.
Not only that, if you have to make the laws for them.
Yeah.
So the political empowerment has happened
Yeah.
here because there is a proper law in place. And of course, we are fighting for the reservation bill. And
Right.
for that reservation, till you treat them as equal, the reservation will remain relevant. See, it's very easy to say the Constitution tells you right to equality, right
Yeah.
to livelihood, but you need to observe that. But we don't do it. We deprive of food. We, discriminate between the two schooling. Even if the girl goes to school, she does a certain amount of housework, and then
Right.
she goes to
And
school.
then she
The boy takes the bag and just goes off, even after coming back from school. So it is how we grow up in society. So unless we treat them as equals, the reservation issue will be there. It's very easy for you and me to say, let's do away with reservation. We are asking for equality, equal rights, then why are we asking for reservation?
We are from a state of privilege.
We are already privileged. I mean, we have got education
Yeah.
and everything, thanks to our parents. You see, I have a brother. If my parents thought, nahi, usko hum English medium school mein
Right.
bhejenge aur isko koi vernacular school mein bhejenge. Not that they thought of that. I mean, they always thought the same. Either both go to a vernacular school, local vernacular school, or both go to English medium school. So that is, of course, affordability, but then even the outlook is very important. But those who actually do not get the equal chance, so the reservation bill will remain relevant.
Dr. Panja, we often talk about success, women's success, but I think failure also teaches you more, perhaps more. So have you had a situation where you have failed professionally or personally, and what has that taught you?
Yeah, there will be.
Yeah.
I think it is there. I have learned to accept it. I don't know. And not break down. I broke down once when I was in class 11. Not
Why?
because
What had happened?
I lost my father very early.
Oh,
So I broke down that time in class 10. I gave my finals school finals, and I did very well, but actually the impact of losing your father came when I was in class 11.
A year later.
And I really bothered my mother about it. I mean, I did give her a difficult time, and that's when my teachers in school said, you cannot do this to your mother. So I think that you need that, you know. I think you sometimes do need a kind of some kind of a failure or something which then teaches you, no, this is not allowed, this is not done. You have to cope up. And that is why the youth of, when we look at the youth of today, we find that they're a bit impatient and we must get this and we must get that.
They're in a hurry to get things done.
It's a terrible hurry, but it took us years to be where we are.
Yeah. Is there a message for the Devis today? We have 15 quite remarkable women who are going to be awarded today. Is there a message for them that you have?
First of all, congratulations, and I think it's an honor to get it from Dr. Subramaniam Swami.
Yes, who's right here.
Yes,
Welcome,
I was so
Dr.
surprised.
Swami.
Dr. Swami doesn't know me. Doesn't know much of Bengal,
This
but
is
I keep following your
Dr.
tweets.
Panja.
Most candid Yes, I'm a
Yes.
minister here in the government. Yeah, he is very candid and very frank.
Yes.
So, and our achievers, there's nothing, I mean, you have achieved so much, and there's so much you can contribute. I personally believe that, as I said, that whatever we achieve is maybe for oneself, but we must give it back to society what we have, what society has given us. Given
Wonderful.
To us.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Dr. Panja. It was
Devi.
such a pleasure to have you, and such a pleasure to have such a minister without any airs, and so cool. A different kind of doctor from that doctor, but equally worthy. Thank you very much.